Hello, pharmacy owners. Dr. Lisa Fost here with Diversify RX. And it's my pleasure today to introduce you to maybe a new company that you haven't heard of before, MakoRx. That's Mako like the fish. And they are a fairly new company, as I mentioned, and they're working in the cost plus model, this cash-based type of pharmacy and pricing model that is really, I think, starting to gain a lot of movement. I know I've talked to a lot of pharmacy owners that are interested in moving more towards a cash-based type of model. And I think MakoRx has some really great stories. They've already got some really nice studies in a couple of states. So I want to bring Vinay on from MakoRx. So Vinay, for those of them people that are listening or watching, if they haven't heard of or ran into MakoRx before, give us a little bit of background, give us a little bit of information to let everybody know who you are.
Thanks so much, Lisa. It's an honor to be on Diversify RX, and I want to give a little shout out to you. Wonderful, high quality content that gets released each week through you. So I'm a fan, and please keep doing the hard work that you're doing for pharmacy.
Thank you.
So,
thank you.
a little bit about MakoRx. So we're aware of, and we completely support cash models that pharmacies are popping up all over the country. We want to be a step above that. And so what we've created at MakoRx is a network of pharmacies. We've gone out and contracted with over 16,000 local pharmacies across the country at cost plus rates. And the cost basis that we use, we can get into this, is NADAC. Plus a fixed dollar amount for brand and generic drugs. And that's our cost basis. And we go to employer groups and use our network to drive traffic to local pharmacies in our network using that model and savings and an unparalleled transparency you don't find with the status quo players today.
And typically what I've seen in a lot of cost plus models or cash-based revenue models where they're only, they're not charging insurance, they're not billing insurance, they're just charging, their cost plus a flat rate or maybe a membership or something like that, is typically for patients that don't have insurance, that they're outside of the realm of insurance or employers, whereas you guys have taken a different approach with, like you said, creating that network, and you're actually selling the cash model to the employers. So what kind of employers are interested in this? Are they large employers? Are they small employers? How many employees, are we talking about here?
So there's a market for all kinds of employers. The particular employers that we're going to today in partnership with a health plan that was created specifically around this model and supports this kind of transparent model is employer groups typically over 50 employees. Our heart of market is 100 to 500 employees. They offer health insurance to their employees, and they're sick and tired of everything we know pharmacies experiencing. All the status quo health insurance players that keep giving them the runaround, keep overcharging them for medications, and they don't understand where the costs are when there's so many different prices for a medication.
Yeah, so your network at MakoRx is really replacing the PBM for these employers in the sense of managing the drug costs, because we all know PBMs don't manage drug costs. And you're going to the employers, and so you're really acting as that PBM. You've created the network, and then, like you said, it drives business to the independent. So can you kind of walk through what it looks like after an employer decides to kind of go with you? How would their employees know to go to a local pharmacy? What is that experience? What is that experience like?
Yes, excellent question, Lisa. After we implement our program through the health plan partnership that we have for an employer group, the first thing we do is we educate their employees, and we tell them, you've typically been driven away from local pharmacies in your community or have been told they're a dying breed and you don't need to worry about them. You got CVS and Walgreens at every corner of the street. And so we're educating them about the value and the benefits of using your local pharmacy. And not only that, and sometimes we actually have local pharmacies in their community that come on site with us to the employer groups that help to educate them and say, I'm your local pharmacist. Here's how I can help you. Reach out to me when you need something. Not only that, but what we'll do is we'll go out, and after we educate them, we tell them their benefit plan is designed around using local pharmacies. So they get cost savings, lower cost share, lower copays when they use a local pharmacy in the network, and standard copays and standard discounts their employers get when they use a national network pharmacy. So we have all pharmacies. We prefer local pharmacies. And through this model and education, and whenever they have a question or concern, they're reaching out to our team and we're telling them about the benefits of using a local pharmacy, not just with savings, but in quality of care as well, which we know local pharmacies have the time to do a little bit more of that than our wonderful pharmacists at the national pharmacy chains.
Yeah, and the experience for pharmacy is really good. So, I mean, I do not use you guys personally. You guys, we're going to talk a little bit about what states you guys are in, but how I really stumbled upon you was in, one of the Facebook groups. I think it actually might've been my Diversify RX Facebook group. And somebody, we were talking about cash prescriptions and the cash model, and somebody mentioned their experience with you and how much extra business they had gotten, how many, I think it was a couple thousand prescriptions they were filling a month that were being funneled in through Mako, through the local employers. And I said, that sounds very interesting, and so the pharmacy owner couldn't stop raving about, his experience with you guys, but it isn't available yet to just every pharmacy owner. And that's obviously when you're changing a model, you kind of have to start somewhere and then you expand. So let's talk a little bit about what states you're in and what exactly you're doing in those states for pharmacies that might be listening that actually reside in those states.
Yeah. So today we're in North Carolina, and a majority of our employers are in North Carolina, but we do have some employer groups in South Carolina, and we're looking at some employer groups today in Virginia as well. So this is our region. We're in the Mid-Atlantic region, and we have over 1,500 members that use our program through employer groups today. That has generated, and I don't think your pharmacy audience will believe this, 40% of our prescription claims have gone to local pharmacies in our network. That's just how a testament to the power of how local pharmacies can retain business once we get the first transaction there, but also how valuable people that work for these employer groups in suburban and rural America value their local pharmacies as well, and they want to use them.
That is actually an amazing statistic. So, I don't know if you kind of missed that, but 40% of all prescriptions filled through these health plans that you're creating with these local employers are filled at an independent pharmacy. Now, I don't know the exact statistics, but I've been in the PBM space. I actually own my own transparent PBM. I've seen a lot of this data in the past. And typically, what I've just seen, I don't know, again, national levels, but it's more like 95% is filled at the big chains, and small little single digits are filled at the local independent pharmacies. So what this is doing in the communities that you're in, it is shifting a ton of business from the typical chain or mail order types of things, and it's shifting it to those independent pharmacies, which is actually really exciting for those communities, because we all know that local pharmacies, independently owned pharmacies, are the best place for patients to get the care that they need and deserve. And we all know that, when 40% of somebody's plan is through an independent pharmacy, they're probably getting some really good service that they're not getting elsewhere. So you mentioned North Carolina, you mentioned South Carolina, and kind of starting into Virginia. So if somebody's listening to this and they're not in one of those states, but they're like, hey, I want to get in on this, like, what are some of the things that those pharmacy owners might be able to do if they're not in one of those states?
So we, as you mentioned earlier, we plan to expand regionally and then, of course, nationwide as soon as we have an operational model that can scale with us, that we've worked out all the kinks in. But nonetheless, for those pharmacies that are outside of our region today, what I would inform them to do is to reach out to their independent, small brokerage or insurance companies or firms that sell insurance to these employer groups. They're always looking for unique or innovative solutions to help their employer groups. There's an overwhelming frustration with employer groups in accessing health insurance today with the current status quo players. And so I'd ask, pharmacy owners to just reach out in their community to these brokers, insurance consultants that sell insurance to these employer groups, forming those partnerships, and then saying, I have a solution for you that can work on pharmacy. What do you have on the medical side? And that's where coming up with this health plan that's customized for employer groups will really make the solution grow like wildfire everywhere, because what an employer needs first and foremost is, okay, great, I love your pharmacy solution, but I also have this other problem called medical that we haven't, we need access to medical doctors and network as well for that. And so creating this custom health plan is possible anywhere in the country. We know a few brokers as well up in the Ohio region area and others across the country that are doing something called community-owned health plans. And that's what they want to look out for, some of these buzzwords. That's where you have to start. These insurance consultants own the relationship, and they're looking for solutions. Start with their relationship, and then reach out to us if we can help support you. We're not holding any secrets here. So we want to make sure this grows and spreads, even if it's not through us, and we can help other communities, other states develop programs like this as well.
Yeah, that is wonderful. And I will tell a little bit of our audience of some experience, like as somebody who has pitched to brokers and brokers clubs, kind of think of brokers as almost like the pharmacy landscape, where most of them are trained people. All they really care about their money and collecting their paycheck. And then you have this small subset that really do want to be unique and offer and bring new and innovative ideas to the market. So it's okay if you hear no most of the time from brokers. Don't give up, have some perseverance. All you need is that one broker or that one PEO group or something that really wants to differentiate themselves. They understand that the market is saturated and they want to do something different, and they can bring the cost plus model to their employers, which I think is becoming a nice buzzword. I mean, that I think if anything, Mark Cuban, going into the cost plus world with his whole manufacturing basically cradle to grave concept of drugs, has made cost plus kind of one of those buzzwords that people are looking for. And so just know that not all brokers are going to be excited to talk to you. Many of them don't have a desire to change the system because it's padding their wallet. And that's okay. You just move on from those brokers and keep going. But I guarantee you will find one or two or several in your community that really understand what's going on here and understand how the cost plus model can bring a ton of savings and a ton of value to those employers that they're dealing with, which ultimately helps the broker because then they'll be able to win more deals. So it really does become a win-win-win situation, except for everybody besides the PBM, which I think we're all pretty much okay if they lose. So it really is win-win for everybody involved. So if somebody's interested in kind of this cost plus model, they're in maybe one of those states, or they just want to talk to you a little bit more about how they can move this forward in their community, how can they best get a hold of you or someone over at MakoRx?
So they can contact us through our website. That's MAKO -rx.com. They're welcome to email me directly if they'd like. My email address is V as in Victor, Patel, so that's V Patel, Patel, at Mako, MAKO medical.com. Or they can call us directly. Our customer support team be happy to take a call from any pharmacy that's willing to partner with us. And they can reach us at 855-562-5679, Monday through Friday, typical business hours.
Yeah.
We'd be happy to hear from our local pharmacies. We're actually reaching out to contact all our North Carolina local pharmacies with a letter and some information for them on how we want to be close partners with them as well.
Well, I love being a disruptor myself. I love finding new innovative companies that are disrupting the status quo, and anything like this that can really come into your community. It's close to my heart. Like I said, I had my own transparent PBM and did a lot of this in my own world back in the day. And it just is mind blowing how much employers are being overcharged, just as how mind blowing it is that pharmacies are underpaid. And we all know who's getting fat in the middle. So thank you so much for your effort on this part, and we're willing to work and look out and support and help independent pharmacies. So we will post all of the information that you said down below in the notes. So anybody reading, watching, or listening later will be able to get that. And thank you so much for your time. And I look forward to maybe talking to you again in a few months and kind of getting an update and see where MakoRx is.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for the opportunity, Lisa.
Thank you, Vinay. Bye-bye.